Okay, welcome everybody again to our Real Views Sunday Zoom sessions. Can someone mute the thing? Right. So right. Thank you very much again. Welcome again to the Real Views Sunday weekly episodes. Now, today we are discussing, should a woman change for a man or vice versa? Now, we often hear that communication and compromise is what makes relationship work. But today we're looking at whether a man should change for a woman, or the woman should change for the man, or or partners. Basically, it could be a lesbian or gay relationship. It could be a gay relationship. So, should partners change for the other person? Today's moderator is Emmanuel. So, Emmanuel, do you want to just take off from there?
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. So, just as Andrew said, the topic for our discussion is should a man or a woman change for the other partner in a relationship, in a heterosexual or non-heterosexual relationship? So I think many times there is this notion that when you love somebody so much, that you should be able to conform to the norms and the practices of the person. And they said there's this idea that love conquers everything. Oh, I love her so much. I love him so much. And I remember there was a friend of mine recently, we were talking about Big Brother Africa. And this friend of mine, he doesn't like Big Brother Niger. So last week I asked him, what is up? Are you watching DBN? He said, oh, my girlfriend, my fiancée made me to love Big Brother. I just had to conform to what she likes so that this relationship would be interesting. So with this little bit of vignettes, I declare the floor open, and I also invite others to just take up from there. Just taking as a lead from what my friend said. Oh, I don't like Big Brother Niger, but I just have to do it because she loves it. So what she loves, I should also definitely love. So,
this your laugh doesn't look innocent at all.
Okay.
What
she's laughing in Latin.
What do you have to say? Even Tamara is waiting. Tamara is waiting to attack. I'm telling you, they are both of them are waiting to attack.
Are you sure they didn't see the video we did? Are you sure they didn't see the recording we did?
No, I think they are waiting. They are not
because I don't understand.
Let's hear from you. Do you think? I personally think that you should remain yourself. I don't think you should change. If people meet you and they don't like you, then it is what it is. Maybe it's not meant to be. That's how I see it. Of course, there's anything that you can compromise, but I don't think you should change who you are to conform to. What if to a relationship? Then that means you're not being authentic. You're lying to yourself and even to the other person, really. But that's my opinion.
Okay, but okay, somebody wants to say, okay, go on.
This question is like a double-edged sword, because a couple of reasons. Now, I don't believe in people letting go of their individuality, because after all, the person who met you and decided to spend the rest of their life with you or date you, or however the case may be, liked you the way you were before you guys started dating. I don't know if you get what I mean. There must have been something about you that attracted the person to you. So whatever behavioral traits you had at that time, the person saw you and, liked you enough to, let us even say, take the relationship to whatever level they decide to take it to. Now, with that being said, I think that there are some tiny, tiny things that are very, I'll call it, for lack of a better word, insignificant. Like when you see it, like this kind will make great quarrel no start. You know what? Let's just do it. Those are tiny, tiny things, like watching TV, like watching BBN, like you said your friend did. It's not a do or die affair, If he decides he wants to watch BBN just so that there'll be peace in the home, that's fine. But there are some things like people say, like, oh, you know, change your friends, or, you know, you were probably like a very free person, and the person that married you said, oh, he wants you to keep your mouth shut and stay in one place or dress in a particular way. You met me the way I was before you came and married me. So why am I having to change? Now, why I say it's a double-edged sword is because when we're talking about things, I don't believe people should change. I believe, you know, you have core values, and I just call it core values that you should maintain regardless of whatever. But then there are things like you met somebody like as a player, for example. I'm now being the devil's advocate here, going back to the women and say, okay, you met your husband as a womanizer and as a player. And if you now say, oh, you don't believe people should change because of relationship, are you now saying the person should continue being a womanizer and a player because you don't believe they should change? I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
So it's a double-edged sword in that regard. That's what I'm saying. So for me, I just feel if you've got core values, if you've got an individuality of yourself, you shouldn't change for the other person, because at some point you get boring. You could do this pretend change for a while, and then one side you just fill up like a cup that is overflowing, and one time be like, you know what, I can't do it anymore. A classical example is myself. I do not like football. Sorry for whoever does. I don't like football. I don't understand why people are kicking a ball up and down and everyone is shouting and killing themselves about it. It hasn't registered in my head. But you know, when I met my husband, it was like, oh, football, oh, Arsenal. And you know, you have to do all that whole okay.
No, I mean, you might not like football, but if you have to change, don't change because someone's supposed to Arsenal. That's a no.
You see, you understand? So I'm there wearing this jersey, and I'm like, I don't even know the players. I don't even know what the heck they are doing. And then the team is failing all the freaking time, and I'm there feeling like, why am I even support? You know what? I'm not even doing again. So
okay, just a question. Just a question. You mentioned in terms of relationship that it's just like a two double-edged sword. And you highlighted the whole point of there are insignificant things one can change. So how do you measure this insignificant thing? Because what might be insignificant to Mr. or Miss A might be something very, very significant for the other person. So how do you know the parameters when to start that which is significant and that which to be insignificant? You could recall, we have this whole idea of packaging, right? Let me package very well. And I remember when I was in the high school or getting to the university, we know that ladies love wristwatch or shoes. So then I remember then, I don't know. You have to like, there's
giving us the secrets.
Don't cast yourself, bro. Don't cast yourself. Go on, but don't cast yourself for us and cast us, please.
Emmanuel, cast on yourself. Don't with you.
Andrew knows what I'm saying. I think Andrew knows what I'm saying, but let me just stop at that.
I don't know what you're saying.
We don't know. They've made you moderator today. You want to cast everybody.
I do not know what you are saying. I know not what you are talking about, Emmanuel. I know nothing.
So when I mean insignificant things, like there are some things that you can actually do without. Like it's not, as I said, it's not the do or die affair. It's like things like, okay, let's say I'm a man, for example, and my partner, a female, chews gum loudly and it irritates me. I like everything else about you, but that gum you're chewing loudly irritates me. Okay. As a female, if I was that kind of person, I'll just think, okay, you know what? This isn't something that should cause a big quarrel or cause a huge dent in my relationship. So you know what? If I have to chew, either I get out of the place or I manage myself and be conscious of where I'm chewing. That's not how I am, but it's when you're talking about compromise, that's the kind of compromise I think you can make. Like you said, your friend and the TV thing. He doesn't like it, but probably the BBN brings the two of them together. And it's not like, you know what, the relationship comes first at that point. And it's an insignificant thing. It's just to watch a show, you know, enjoy it for God knows how long it will last. And gradually, you don't know if you end up liking it. Like for me and the football thing, I enjoyed the thing for as long as I could until I couldn't anymore. But you know, my husband understood that I couldn't, so he didn't budge. But then it was me trying to be, you know, the ultimate girlfriend. I want to show I'm a supporter of Arsenal, but it didn't work. So basically, it's those tiny things that are not it shouldn't be something enough to cause a damage to your relationship. But things like when you say change your friends, I understand some people might have reservations for the kind of friends their partner keeps or keep. But then at the same time, those people or your partner practically knew those people before he knew you. And for some reason, he kept them as friends. Even if maybe you see some danger signs as you come and you've had your own outside perspective and you've seen, okay, kind of friends that your partner is keeping are not very good for them. You could, in your own subtle way, drop one or two lines. Let your partner make the decision himself. Don't force the person to say, oh, because I said you should change your friends, you need to compromise in this relationship. There are some very, very hardcore issues that could really cause a dent in your relationship. And I don't think, and when it has to do with somebody's personality, somebody's individuality, and how do I call it, values, I think you should just let the person be. Try and endure the person, or I would say endure. Try and understand the person and how whatever those traits or whatever those situations define the person. And then it's like you're learning every single day you are with, no matter how long you're married, every single day you're learning something about your partner. Every single day you're learning something, and that's what brings you guys together. That's what joins the two. What, like, for example, if I realize there's something, like my husband doesn't really talk. He's a very, very quiet person. So people outside might think I'm a quiet person, but I talk a lot. Me, I know in my head I talk. So it's not as if, do you understand? So sometimes you want to have some conversations and I feel like, oh, he's in his shell, and I want to talk and he doesn't feel like talking, and it can be annoying, but and I can take it as, I can take personally, he doesn't want to talk to me for one reason. But gradually you realize it's not as if, but that's just how he is. He just sometimes wants to be by himself and be in his own thoughts. So I can leave that and say, okay, you know what, I've understood this is how it is. Maybe I can go and find something else to do at that period and entertain myself, than dwell on that and make that an issue to affect our relationship. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Carlos' hand is up. Carlos' hand is up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. I want to say something. Well, let me just commend Chizoba for her, once again, very wise input in this discourse. I've noticed that she is somebody who has a great wealth of experience, particularly in the area of relationship matters. Maybe Chizoba, you could, in the future, consider maybe having some talk, some time to speak to people.
Big name, the small dog. Carlo,
okay.
big
Andrew is becoming a little bit jealous, but let me just go back to the point. So I just want to align with the path that Chizoba actually took on this matter. Guys, let me tell you something. You see, let us not forget that these are two different people coming from very different and way apart social contexts. Now, Ben Carson, when he was about to separate one of the conjoined twins that made him very popular, if you've read his books, the girls from the Middle East, I think from Lebanon or so, or either Syria or Lebanon. Okay. So he made an analysis of the dangers that would evolve from that separation. And he tried to convince these girls and the parents. He said, hey, you guys have been getting along. I think the girls were up to 16 or 18 years at that time, or 17 years. He told them, said, you guys have been getting along for some time. These are the dangers. If we carry out this surgical operation, you guys may not survive. Any one of you who survives may end up being, in fact, bedridden for the rest of our life. So why don't you think you should manage up like this? Now, look at, interestingly, what the girls said. The girls said, for all the medical statistics and their prognosis they made, that what is really necessitating their quest for this separation is that they, for once in their life, would want to manage their own differences on their own. Okay? Now you can imagine, even two conjoined twins have so great differences that they just want to live apart for once. Now you can imagine two people, a man and a woman, coming together in marriage or in a relationship to blend together. What is key, and I think Chizoba did justice to that, is this. Changing yourself or changing the other person is not actually reasonable. In fact, I believe, going by your social upbringing, it's not possible to change yourself. But this is what it is now. Identifying those things that he likes, that you don't like, identifying those things she likes that you don't like, identifying those things that makes him unhappy, identifying those things that makes her unhappy, and being careful not to do those things. One of my former girlfriends, this is how she described football, and she was European. She said she can't understand why people will be running around a particular plot of land, tossing and chasing football up and down. She doesn't even understand she doesn't understand why people in their normal thinking frame would be doing such things like that. But look at Chizoba, what she did. This is not her thing, but she felt that she should just sit down there, sit with him, if it makes him happy, So this is understanding. This is not changing yourself. So I think changing ourselves is not possible in a relationship, or changing the other person is not possible in a relationship, but understanding, creating a balance. I think that is what we should try to achieve. Thank you.
I think, yeah, Emmanuel, can I come in or?
Okay.
I think that, Chizoba mentioned, like you said, this minute, there's little inconsequential changes. Yeah, insignificant, that was the word she used, yeah, insignificant changes. But you see, in our earlier session, when we talked to, our video we did with the what guys want ladies to know.
Yes, brother.
We talked about cultural differences. Now, there are foundational differences. Like, for example, you cannot expect an introvert or an extrovert to come together, and you expect the introvert to become an extrovert, to change. Those are the kind of change we're talking about. Is it fair, or is it reasonable to expect one person, for example, who's an introvert and who's now in a relationship with an extrovert, to become an extrovert? Is that
I don't
fair?
think it's reasonable. It's not fair. It's not even possible. Chizoba gave an example of her husband. She said, naturally, he's not somebody who talks all the time. Now, if you've been around people like that, it doesn't mean they are not intellectually smart. In fact, people like that have the highest IQs. People who don't talk. Those people have been proven, even in very tasking things like chess games or tennis, or even in the military, people who don't talk, their level of IQ, because those of us who talk, we talk away the things we should think about. But they themselves, they take their time to process things. There's a cardinal who wrote a book on the power of silence. I don't know, silence. You guys should. Yes, The Power of Silence, an African cardinal. He just wrote that book about 9 years ago. You guys should read that book. So many things can be conquered when we are silent. So many things can be processed when we are silent. Now, take for instance, Andrew, somebody like Chizoba's husband. Where are you going to start to make him to be an extrovert?
No. But you see, there are different aspects so there are people who are what you call ambiverts, right? Introverts, extroverts, and then ambiverts are in the middle. And so, which means that they can deal with people, but they need to also withdraw, to have silence and time to themselves, right? Now, someone like that, right, who is because he's extroverted, you think that he's like that, but actually, he's what you call an ambivert. He needs time to withdraw. Now, you can look at him and go, well, you're not so much of an introvert. You're not very far from extrovert because you talk. I want you to be more extrovert. Now, is that possible? Now, we have Bless's hand is up, and we have Khadija's hand up. Do you guys want to come in? Emmanuel, you're the moderator. I think we have Blessing and Khadija's hand up.
Okay, Blessing. After Blessing, then Khadija. Who wants to go first?
Okay, let me go first. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I think the aspect of changing for your partner or changing for anyone at all when it comes to marriage or relationship, to me, I feel that is why dating is there. But these days, or I would say for now, people concentrate more on other things, maybe like sex, if the partner is good in bed or not, if the girl is beautiful, if the girl have both, and all those kind of things. People sometimes don't look for those things like what Andrew. Yeah, they are very important.
Very, very, very important.
The essence where can you live with this partner? Like, can we hang us together? Those other parts that you cannot really, that people look at, they are not important, but they are really important. Like you'll be at home with your partner, two of you will just be silent, you're looking at the TV.
We lost Blessing. Hello?
I think we lost Blessing there. We lost Blessing there.
No conversation because you don't know where to start. Partners should go on a dating. This person, some few parts about your partner because can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
That is like echoing. Okay. Yeah, go on, Blessing.
Okay. So I feel, yeah, for me, I feel dating is why we should is there for us to learn one or two things about our partner. So if you are an introvert, look for somebody that is a little bit compatible with you. If not, at least 100, nobody can be 100% compatible with you, please. So at least somebody that's a little bit compatible with you, that understands you a little bit. If you know you are an extrovert, go for somebody that also likes to be at least a little bit an extrovert like you. That's what I mean. And just like if a man likes sex too much, look for a woman like in terms of dating that involves in such type of relationship like sex. Some people don't do it before marriage, but if you engage in that, look for your partner that also likes sexual stuff, what kind of thing, romance and all that. Not a you got marry Shama Jesus, you're looking in love, that's what I'm trying to say.
Maria.
It's
those
true.
Blessing is advocating for test driving the car before you buy. Blessing is advocating for.
Our input is acknowledged. Our input is acknowledged.
Blessing, I think we are happy to take that point.
Yes.
Yes.
It is cogent and we acknowledge it.
It's a very valid point. We actually, I think Tamara and Khadija
Yes.
still on. Yeah, go on.
Yes, I'm still on. I'm here. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Okay, I have a few points I want to make. Okay, I believe that I've heard everything everybody have said, and I'm really impressed. But I just believe that there's a saying that says the only constant thing is change. And if you want to be happy with your partner, you must learn to sacrifice or you must learn to compromise. Why do I say this? I believe that, okay, I'm this kind of a person that little things trigger me. And I believe that to be with someone, you should be able to change because of that person. So if you're saying to be with somebody that like is not like people are not 100%, that you can't change for somebody, or maybe somebody else cannot change because of you, I'm not understanding that point, because a lot of people have said you cannot completely change somebody to be in a certain way, especially in marriages. I feel like if you truly love somebody and you want to really be happy in your marriage, change is something you should consider, and change is the only thing that is constant. So I just want to say, I really appreciate everyone that is here, and I'm learning one or two, and I'm learning one or two. Thanks. So yeah, thank you so much.
Very much. I think Tamara's hand was up.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Just
yeah, they're waiting for you to talk.
Why me? Okay. I will refer back to Chizoba. I agree with the fact that you don't change yourself, your personality, but like she said, there's these minute things. Okay, you can relate that sometimes you have a partner and you actually know that what this person like, there's this particular character about the person is not nice. And yeah, you like this person. Let's say the person get angry easily and stuff like that. You could actually see that getting angry at some point could actually spoil some certain things about that person, maybe decision. And at the end of the day, the person comes and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I did this thing. It's not good. I'm sorry." Meanwhile, every time you just keep getting this angry, getting angry with anger. For me, I feel in that situation, for Christ's sake, it's a bad character that needs to be changed. Like, and sometimes you don't, unknown to you, you see yourself changing for your partner without you knowing, because maybe this person, you like a particular thing about this person acts in a certain way that you like, unknown to you. You're this kind of person that, no, I can't do this, but you find yourself doing this particular thing because you feel, oh, this is nice. Doesn't mean that you're changing your person, but you're changing for a good cause. So for me, the bad character needs to change. True. Then you don't have to change yourself, but there's still certain, like, just okay, you have a partner that is, or not even a partner, like a friend that is very malicious, like she's always quarrelsome, like every time fight, and you like this person. There are other aspects of this person that is actually good, and you know that you've changed through that person's other side. So I feel like it's something that if you know it's bad, because sometimes some people don't even know that what they do is bad. To them, they feel like it's normal, but it's actually not normal. So in that situation, you can actually change. So it's not like you're changing yourself. Like Chizoba said, football, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, some people don't like football, but they want you to not like it as well. So in that situation, what do? Because you care about this person. So for me, I feel like there are still certain things we should change about ourselves or your partner that is not good. It doesn't mean because, oh, you don't have to change yourself and you're carrying bad character and moving along. Bad habits are moving around. For me, I feel like you have to change when it's necessary.
Okay,
well,
thank
you,
Tamara. You don't spoke my mind.
Yeah. You see, can I just add something quickly? You see, you have to be very careful epistemologically when you say something bad in somebody. Now, what you attribute as bad, just like they say, where your right stops, that is where the rights of another person begins or starts. Now, epistemologically, looking at the validity of the attributes, what you consider bad in another person may not be bad. So that is why we say, is it possible for you to actually change that person? Is it between change and adaptation are two things. I can decide to come into a place where they say everybody should switch their phones off. You can only speak when you raise your hand up. Now, that may not be the way I relate to conversations, but I'm adapting to that situation. I am not actually changing myself. Even the person who is moderating that session is not actually changing you, but the person is saying, adapt to these rules for this time. So we have to be very, very careful, because if you say you should change the bad things the person is doing, how do you now ascertain which one is bad the person is doing? Okay, the person is snoring in the night. You want him to change, it's bad to you.
No, snoring is not bad. You can't say change your snoring.
No, I'm just giving an example.
No, not in those cases. No.
Okay, go ahead.
There are some obvious youths, just like raising a child. There are some things you see the child start exhibiting some kind of character that you know that, no, you can't allow this child to grow up like this. And you start trying to correct that child from that stage. Like, you can't do this, you can't do that. So those are where I'm coming from. Not the thing that you know you can't change for yourself. And let's be sincere, there are some habits, there are some not habits per se. I can't even tell you stop smoking. There are some obvious character that you know, and I know. The person will even be telling you that I know I have a bad character, but leave it for me like that.
Okay, Tamara, let me just come in. Tamara, and just hold it on just for a moment. Let me call on and I've been seeing Ego, so she wants to just,
Blessing.
Okay. Okay, Go on, Blessing.
I think the network, we lost
Say
her
what
there again.
you wanted to talk.
And please, let's not forget that. Can you hear me? Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget that in as much we can't change ourselves for our partner, there are also some sacrifices we need to make when we are married or when we really love this person and want to spend the rest of our life with this person. You get, there are some times you can't just eat your cake and have it. Let's say a man or a woman that likes spending a late night out when they are single and they expect to do same when they are married. Is somehow there are some things you need to cut rope to. At least if you cannot change all of a sudden, like just once, at least gradually you will change. Because while you love that person, you have to sacrifice some part of you. Same thing with the other partner. You have to sacrifice some part of them just to make this thing work. If not, if everybody wants to do what they want, or their bad character or good character, what they are used to when they are single, there will be no person in marriage.
There'll be no peace.
So you get, so you have to sacrifice something to make it work. Change something about yourself. They cannot change all of you, but something has to change, that this man or this woman know that my husband is trying, my wife is trying. She wasn't like this, but she's trying like that. That's what I want to say.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I just add something to what you just said?
Okay.
Sorry, you
Forgive
me. Now, you know me, I'm a very big feminist and I advocate for women a lot. But there are some things I need to be very fair about, and this is me being very fair. Now, there are some changes that you expect of your partner, which I understand they are valid. For example, like you said, someone who likes to hang out late, and when he now gets into marriage, he doesn't expect to be hanging out late again. Now, it depends on the kind of hanging out late. I have to put this clause. Now, let's say your partner is a very sociable person and he likes to hang out late and everything. And then for some reason you come and say, oh, you're now married, you shouldn't be hanging out late, be responsible and all what and be in the house. Fine, valid request. But what if that thing is staying in the house constantly is making your partner miserable because he misses that social life he used to have, because that social life keeps him going. He goes wherever he goes to, comes back, he's still happy, he treats you like the normal wife he treats you. Nothing changes. It's just the fact that he hangs out late. Now, in that regard, I will say this. Now, I like to give examples of things that are happening around. My father is a very social butterfly. He's the kind of person that even if he comes to my house here, there's no kidding, we are going to hang out in the bar somewhere. Till today, he's old though. That's how we are. He's a very social butterfly. And I'm noticing my mom is a very, very reserved person. She doesn't like to go out. She doesn't like to whatever. She complained about this thing for years. Sometimes the man will now stay in the house for a while and not want to go out, but you can see that he's obviously miserable. Like he really wants to just go out and be with his friends. And
That's exactly.
Okay. Yes, NWC, we can see your question. You're asking, and I also have the same question. So is it the case that just as NWC is asking, can we say that adaptation, compromise, sacrifice, they all mean the same thing, or there are changes? Are they do they lead to change, or they are part of change, or they are different from change? That's the question NWC is asking from what is emanating from our discussion.
Well, can I respond to that?
Okay.
I think adaptation is a type of change. Right? So when I think in this, we're not like, it's what we're talking about here. Like would say, do you now change someone who likes to go out or who's a social butterfly because they're not in a relationship or in a marriage? Should they change that aspect of them? Do you understand what I mean? Should they be, essentially you want them to be a different person, and what you find in most relationships is that people have this, what men and women, they have this idea of what they want, right? And they meet somebody and they want to turn that person into what their idea of the perfect or ideal partner is. And so what they tend to do is, they complain about those things that's the essence of that person. You see what I mean? Okay. And that's what we're talking about here. Is that fair to expect someone to change just for? I mean, in my opinion, there are what you call, like I said, foundational things that you can't change, and culture is one of them. we talked about it this morning. Once people can understand the culture, but one thing I've come to learn and realize is that in as much as they are very open-minded, once a slight difference in the culture, it could be a problem. Now, you don't expect that the other person to judge. Now, their foundation is who they are, right? You don't expect them to now change all that just to be with you. Then if we keep changing, at some point, you lose yourself. You know, so do you, because you're expected to be in a relationship and be yourself, right? So
Okay.
if you start wanting to, you know, change, then you end up losing your individuality. You lose who you are.
Okay, Andrew, just a question. Yes, Andrew, thank you very much for your intervention. Now let us take, for example, a critical example, or just an example.
Go on. Hello? It looks like we lost the moderator there.
Okay, I'm back now. For example, let's take a situation. I want to get married.
Yeah.
And the girl in question, she's the daughter of a senator.
Okay.
Or she's an highly placed lady in the society, including her family. And I want to be myself, or I want to adapt. Do I go there and maybe, for example, I am, let's say, cobbler. Okay, no, I'm a wheelbarrow pusher.
It doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, okay.
I'm coming, and I'm not talking out of own video. I'm talking of just a real life. Okay, for example, let's take, for example, you're a lady, and then I come to your family, and your dad will ask me, or your mom will ask me, oh, young man, what's your job? And the girl in question, she is a graduate, and I come up, I say, okay, that I earn 10,000 naira a month because I want to be myself. I earn 10,000 naira a month.
Yeah.
I live in one room that I struggle to pay the rent, and each time it's always a tussle with the landlord and landlady. And then to be able to feed, it's also a problem. But
okay, what's your point?
My point there is that if when you come out in your true color, because you do not want to adapt or you do not want to change, is it possible? Will you accept me if I come in as a suitor? Just being real. I'm not talking of
first of all, the girl took you home, so she has accepted you. In as much as the parents' opinion is recognizable, that's not the main thing, right? And so, would you rather go there and lie that you earn 100,000 a month and you live in this mansion for them to find out later, or come out there and be honest? And if they accept it,
can we say that packaging is telling lies?
No.
Or
yeah, well, yes. What do you think it is? Do you know, especially in Abuja, in Nigeria, you have people who have Range Rovers and they live in their cars. They don't have, they are squatting, or they can't even pay their rent, and they say it's packaging. That's living a lie.
Okay.
You know, thank God my mom is here, right? I found out recently that as a kid, I used to get angry all the time. Sharon, I'm sure you remember. I'll get angry all the time, and I just used to snap at little things. And I thought I had anger issues. But I didn't grow up to realize that I wasn't, even as much as I was very sociable, I wasn't so much of an extrovert. I was more of an ambivert, which meant that I needed time to myself to kind of to recharge, right? And because as a child, and I didn't know this, I didn't know myself enough, and you know, no one really taught me. I didn't really know who I was, right? Everyone expected this extrovert person. And when you're quiet, why are you quiet? You're not meant to be like this. And then I was being forced to be who I'm not. What then happens? So what the consequence of that was that snap reaction. I'm getting angry. As soon as I grew, and then I started knowing who I was, and I know myself now. I now know, okay, after a while of dealing with people, I need time to withdraw. I need time to myself. I need time to step back and kind of recharge. You see what I mean? And you can't at the same time make me an introvert. That's not who I am. At the same time, I don't like people that much. I might see, do you see what I mean? I might seem as if I'm very sociable. I like people. I love to talk and laugh. It's not always the case. Now, someone like that, you don't start to say, but why are you quiet? You cannot be quiet. no, this is not you. When I met you, you were very, very open and talking and sociable. Then do you see what I mean? What would then happen is because you're not being yourself, of course, emotions it's like water. Once you block one way, it's going to leak and come out through a different way. So what happens is people start to react. Sorry, there are three people's hands up. We have Blessing. After Blessing, we have Kalu and then Chizaba. I'm sorry to take the floor. You guys can go. Blessing, you first.
Okay, Blessing. Blessing seat is empty. Okay. Chizaba then. Okay, Blessing is back. Okay. Okay, go on, Blessing.
Okay, please, can Chizaba go on first before I follow, please? This one.
Okay. Chizaba.
Sorry, I was just trying to complete what I was trying to say because I had a reason for saying it. Sorry.
Okay, go on.
So I was saying, yeah, so my dad is a social butterfly, and he's always miserable when my mom will complain about it. When we grew up, we realized that, okay, because my mom will have to sit up all night and wait for him to come back whenever he's coming back, just to be sure he's safe and all whatnot, which is what she was trained, or she knew was, how to go about it. With time, I realized that even herself, she was missing out on a whole lot of things, to be honest, because she was basically living around the man rather than actually living her own individuality. So one of these days, we told her, you know what, you could actually go out with him because nobody is saying forcing you to sit down in the house. You understand? Nobody said it's a must that as a married woman, you must be in your house. You both can go out together and, you both have your fun and come back. With time, she agreed to it. And it's not like she's changing because she started looking forward to the outings. At the same time, because he was aware that he is with his wife, he knew that in his mind he had to be home before, normally he doesn't have to stay out late as long as he used to be. So the both of them ended up enjoying it, and the both of them was like, that's where the compromise comes in. The both of them ended up spending that time outside. But then the Oga realized, okay, his wife is with me, so my wife is with me, so I have to come back. I don't have to keep her outside this late. He started coming back earlier, and the lady on her own didn't have to worry about it any longer because, she's hanging out with him. She's seeing what he's doing. He's hanging out with friends. There's nothing else that is there. So there's a way you can actually, let's say, indirectly compromise and, make your relationship stable without actually having to tell somebody, oh no, you outrightly stop this. There are different ways to kill a rat, like they would say. So there are different ways to go around it without actually changing the individuality of the person. That's basically what I was going to say.
I think Kalu's hand is up, and then after Kalu, there's Sharon, isn't it?
Okay, thank you very much. There is a term, I'm responding to Andrew's comment here. There is a term in philosophy known as cogito ergo sum.
Cognito ergo sum.
Cogito ergo sum. That is, I think, therefore I am. Okay. Yep. Now, this is also used in philosophy. It's also used in jurisprudence and law. It was conceived by René Descartes, the 17th century French.
René Descartes. Yeah,
yes, Descartes. Yeah, French philosopher. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So now, the basis of this philosophical statement is this: your thinking is based on your social upbringing. Now, let me give you a simple example to analyze this statement. The personality that is in Boko Haram in the Middle Belt, the personality that is the Boko Haram in the Middle Belt that is fighting that he has to kill the people he identifies as enemies of God. That thinking was shaped by his micro and his macro social nucleus, where he saw his parents believe in such things. In fact, that is who he is. Our own thinking, for instance, we don't have to force people to practice my religion, and we also have to allow people to live. The only difference is that we were raised by parents who had that same type of ideology, and that makes us who we are. You cannot force me to go and put bomb on my body and go and blow myself up somewhere because I want to convert people who I believe that they are doing something wrong to my own religion. Can you see? You cannot change that part of me.
Yeah.
This is the same way we are when we come into relationships. And changing somebody is a futile effort which will always fail. The only thing you can do is to give that person the opportunity to adapt to what you see as a basis of continuing or sustaining that relationship. Like Andrew, you cited some parts of your upbringing, and I thank you very much for opening up to that. But you see, Andrew had to adapt to, in fact, if Andrew didn't adapt, he wouldn't be discussing with us here. He wouldn't be friends with us here. Most of us have been friends with him for quite some time. But he had to adapt. Does that change who he is? I don't think so. But he has adapted to some situations. So in every relationship, you would have to identify those things you believe that, this is a part of this person, and you just try to adapt to it. And then before you know what is happening, the relationships begin to continue. But trying to say you want to change the person, I don't think it is possible, and I don't think it is necessary.
Okay, thank you very much, Kalu. Now we have Sharon and Blessing's hand up. So Sharon, do you want to go? And then after Sharon, Blessing. Sharon, are you there?
Yeah, hi. Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Hello, hello.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Okay, so I've been listening and quite interesting. Good morning, Mommy. Mommy Seidu, good morning, Ma. I'm bowing my head and I'm bending my knees, Ma. Yes,
Mommy.
Good morning, Mommy. Yeah, so about this whole conversation, I honestly think we shouldn't expect people to change for us. I think we should celebrate our differences. You know, we should celebrate our differences. And if you go into a relationship with a person, right? If that person is really different from you, or what's your ideal about what your partner should be, ask yourself, can you live with those differences? Are those differences you can live with? Those characteristics that you don't like about them, are they things you can live with? Are they things you can adapt to? If the answer is no, pack your load and go to the next person. Go look for another person. Because by the time you start expecting people to change who they are, they lose themselves. And when people lose themselves, they become miserable, they become unhappy. That's when people now say, oh my gosh, when I met him, he wasn't like that. Or when I met her, she wasn't like that. She was a happy person. Now she's completely different. Now she's somebody I don't know. I don't understand who this person is. That is because they have lost themselves, right? So I think we should celebrate our differences. I think everybody should be able to live their individuality. And like Chizoba said, if there are areas where you can adapt. If you don't like something, like she used football as an example, during that time when that person, go do something else. Go keep yourself busy, do something else if you don't like it.
Okay, thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you.
After Sharon, Blessing, and then Thompson, I see Thompson is ready for war. So after Blessing, I want to hear from Thompson. The way Thompson hands is folded, he's ready for war. I think he's ready to come in. And after Blessing and Thompson, then we should be rounding up. Blessing, let's hear you, then Thompson. Blessing, are you there? I think we've lost Blessing. Right, Thompson, let's hear you.
I want to say good evening, everybody. Sorry for coming late. I just came in from a long journey. I came in between the discussion, and from what the last speaker, she just said is, Mom is there. Good evening, Ma. Anyway, I want to say, you see, this relationship of a thing, I want to give, for instance, if you are going on a journey, you get to the train station, everybody that goes with you in that journey does not put on the same clothes as you.
No.
You put on whatever you think fits you. The other person puts on whatever thing fits
them.
Fits in. Then you guys enter the same train, going to the same destination. That is the train is the journey. The destination is the main goal. The dressings are individual characters. It is not left for you as a person, like what she just said, to see if this is what I can endure or enjoy. And in everything you are enduring, know there are limits to that endurance. Just don't look at it at the moment now. Look at it when the rubber is being stretched to the limit. How are you going to take it? Are you still going to take it, or is this thing going to elapse or something I can patiently enjoy for the rest of my life? If it is not something you are going to enjoy at the long run, you simply state what you want. If the person is not ready to go on that platform, my dear, take your things and leave. My father used to tell me, he said, you cannot change anybody. A person that loves you will definitely work on his or her own lapses to suit you at a point in time. You too, you will still be working from your own edge. She will be working from her own edge for both of you to come at a particular point of understanding. But by the time that particular person is not working, like somebody like me now, I don't like night food, late night food. You do it the first time, you do it the second time, you do it the third time. It gets to a time, I'm not ready to eat that particular food with you on late hours. If you definitely know I don't like this thing, then why are you doing it always? That is where the person is left to do his or her own assignment, to say, this person does not like this. This person does not like this. Then I have to put adjustments. I need to start to adjust. It might not just come once, but it will come with patience, endurance, and time. So that is all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Thompson. Blessing, did you want to add something before we round up?
Yeah, I think Thompson just spoke my mind. Like, someone cannot change. Yeah, even if you don't want to change, for the fact that you love this person, you want to be with the person, work on it, please. Okay, some people club every day, every weekend. It's a must for them. Some of us have friends like that. Are you telling me when you get married, some weekends you have to end up with your wife and your kids? So you have to cut some slack on your acting. Don't shut it up. Fine, but at least cut some slack so that they will know that he cares and he loves us. That's what I mean.
So thank you very much, Blessing. Now, I think we have to agree that we've concluded that we can't necessarily change, but we can adapt and compromise. I think that's right. From all the talk, all this session, that's what that's one thing that stands out, that we don't like you. We don't have to change. We just have to adapt and compromise. And I think the crowning comment for today, and everyone has commended that, was Sharon's comment when she said we should celebrate our differences.
I don't agree.
Okay.
I don't agree.
But Thompson,
he doesn't agree. Let person say.
I love Thompson.
Let me give you. See, I don't give instancy with what I hear. I give instancy with my life.
With your experience.
I used to drink. I used to smoke. This is a living testimony. When I got my admission into Abrusali University, I met a girl. I met that girl. She's late now. I met her then. This girl, there was one day we went out. We bought some bottles. She was expecting her girlfriends. She just said something. She said, "You are just drinking, it's nice. Don't you think you look irresponsible?" That statement changed my life up to today. She said, "Don't you think you look irresponsible? If my girlfriend should come, the way I have hyped you, do you know this drink will bring you down before them?" I said, I'm not going to do this thing again. I made that promise. up till today, it has been more than 18 years now. I stopped smoking. I stopped drinking alcohol. Nothing like whatever has gone into the system because of that girl. But she's late now. I'm still living that life.
That's why I said people can
Wait.
change.
Let me interrupt you. This is one mistake we make as human beings. You did not change because of that girl. That girl triggered something.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, you changed by yourself because it was somebody else that told you that same thing. If you did not like the person like you like that girl, trust me, you will still be drinking that thing you're drinking.
But at least that girl made the change happen.
But at least I changed for her.
But the girl made the change happen.
The girl triggered the change.
No, that's what we are saying. That's what we are saying. That you cannot change somebody else. If somebody wants to change, the person will change because they want to change.
The girl triggered the change, and it gave me a life example. It gave me a life victory over it.
Mr. Thompson, I get you.
The trigger was something you wanted to hear by yourself.
No. I did it from the beginning. I did it from the beginning to please her. But along the line, it became my person.
It wasn't because of how, it was because of you. You did it for the thing.
No, Miss Chizoba, he might be right. No, he might be right.
I just did it to please her.
I think we have to agree to disagree on certain points. But I think, like we said, I think we all agree that we have to change. And Carlo just asked, the question is, did she change you? No. She triggered something. That's what I think.
She didn't change you. That's the point. So she didn't change you. She triggered it.
Next week is going to be interesting. Now, next week topic is male cheating versus female cheating.
Hey,
la la, ooh la la, ooh la la.
Please, I want to know when is the time. Tell me. I don't want to be
3 p.m. 3 p.m.
It will not come by 3 p.m. Nigerian and UK time, and it's 4 p.m. Central European time. And those in other parts of the world, it differs. But if you go, if you go with Nigerian time, it's 3 p.m. Nigerian time, and then we all those in different parts of the world, we just walk around that. So if you look at the time against Nigerian time, 3 p.m. your time, 3 p.m. Nigerian time. If it's 2 p.m. your time or 10 a.m. your time, then that's what it is.
I think I should be online.
You're clapping your hand now. Thompson, you're not clapping your hand now. Did you see what they said?
I am waiting for this part for a very long time.
The topic again next week is male cheating versus female cheating. Now, those who are joining us for the first time, is The Real Views. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and share. Follow us on Instagram. It's Real Views 2021.